Last year, we had our first class of Hanukkah 101. I thought this year we'd do Hanukkah 201. My family celebrates along with other Jewish families all over the world. But people have, what are you doing? The biggest question we always get, how do you spell it? Is it Hanukkah with an H or Hanukkah with a CH? Well, in Hebrew, the word is pronounced Chanukah. So that's why it gets a CH in a lot of translations, but that's hard to say. So either way is really fine, and you see it both ways all over. What is Hanukkah? It's a holiday that celebrates a military victory by the Jews back in 200 BC, so 2,000 years ago, when they regained control of the Holy Temple. So what happens on Hanukkah? Well, people gather around with families, sometimes friends. You got gifts, you sing some songs, you have some traditional food, you light the menorah, and you play with the dreidel. Now, as for the menorah, why does it look the way it does? It celebrates 8 nights. Why 8 nights? Why not just one night like Christmas? Well, because it celebrates the miracle of oil. There was only enough oil in that temple that they regained control of to last 1 night, but the miracle is that it lasted 8 nights. So you see 8 candles plus an extra one that is used to light the other candles, and that's why there are 8 candles in a menorah, the candelabra. And then as for the dreidel itself, there are usually 4 letters, Hebrew letters, on 4 sides of a dreidel, and they signify the words that begin great, in Hebrew, miracle, happened here. So it's as if a G, an M, an H, and a T were on the 4 sides of the dreidel, and then you spin it, and you can either play games using the letters, or the longest duration of a dreidel spin, or just knock your buddies or brothers or sisters' dreidel off the table. So I brought a bunch, so we can play. We've got Cam, Ben, and Rich here, with lots of different styles.
This one's really hard for me. I don't know why.
You just got to really spin it fast as you can. There you go. You got it.
Okay.
And then look at that. You go to the end of the table. There's a few here.
Cam's very competitive.
I am so competitive.
My mom actually bought these for the crew. Some of these will automatically turn upside down.
And competitive dreidling is okay, right? In the tradition.
I mean, encouraged.
Okay.
Train travel definitely impacted, right?
Yeah, and we do want to have a correction from what we reported earlier. If you're heading from south to Seattle, that's not the impact. The impact is if you're leaving Seattle heading north toward Everett. I want to show you kind of where we are in the Jackson Street Bridge. And this is the transit tunnel that is being affected here, whereas it sort of banks left here near Pioneer Square and eventually dumps out by the Washington State Convention Center. It is a freight train, we believe, that struck the man who was believed to be in his 60s and was killed on the tracks. We don't know the details of why the man was on the tracks. We do know that, of course, the train has been stopped, the service has been suspended going north, and BNSF is approaching the scene, and we are told that they are investigating this as potentially and perhaps probably a trespassing situation. Of course, you are not allowed on the tracks, certainly not on the tracks inside the tunnel where there is no way to escape. So we don't know how long that the train is going to be stuck there, but we do know if you are leaving from Seattle trying to get north for school, for work, for whatever, you need to find another mode of transportation. The Sound trains will not take you there, at least as of this morning here in the 8 o'clock hour. The police presence is pretty much dispersed. There are a few cars still on the scene. I went into King Street Station. People there didn't really know what was going on. Even supervisors with some of the trains didn't have much of a clue of where something had happened and what had happened. So it's a pretty calm scene here, but a tragedy inside that tunnel, we believe, here standing on top of Jackson Street in downtown Seattle. Steve Bunin reporting live, KING5 Mornings.
Now we got some Seahawks news and a new backup quarterback.
Yeah, this is the guy. I mean, if something happens to Russell Wilson, the guy who's going to replace him becomes the most important guy on the team. Right. But he's a new guy, and he's not going to play at all. His name is Brett Hundley. The Seahawks yesterday sent a 6th-round pick to the Green Bay Packers to bring him in. So he's a guy who has some experience. He was a star at UCLA, so some Husky and Cougars fans kind of know who he is, but he didn't play that well for Green Bay last year. And the issue is that this preseason, the Seahawks' 2 backup quarterbacks, Austin Davis, who's a veteran, and Alex Magoo, who's got a great name, but he's a rookie. Yeah. Neither one played well. So they felt they had to make this trade, which is just risky this late in the preseason, because if something does happen to Russell Wilson, this guy's got a week and a half to prepare and lead this team, because Pete Carroll said he will be the second stringer. Right. So he's not going to play because he's flying into Seattle. He doesn't have time to learn the playbook and play tonight. He is going to get game action when it's game time, if something happens. Now, if Russell Wilson is healthy, great, he never plays.
Hopefully nothing will happen.
Right.
Luckily,
but if he does,
so good.
It's a big risk.
And KJ Wright isn't playing either.
Right, so this is one of their star linebackers. Now, he had arthroscopic knee surgery, which is no fun for all of us, but for a pro athlete, it's not as bad as, of course, a torn ACL or a torn meniscus. Something was wrong, wasn't doing right, so they went in to clean it out. Pete Carroll says he thinks it went well, but they're thinking a couple weeks that he's out. That means he'll miss the regular season opener, and for a team like the Seahawks, who lost so many big name guys, and Michael Bennett and Richard Sherman and Cliff Averill and Cam Chancellor, to have one of their other key guys who's supposed to be in the lineup not be in the lineup, that's a huge issue for them.
Boy, Tyler Lockett got a paycheck.
Yeah, he's one of the
I'm
fan
happy for
favorites.
him.
I think anyone who's short is a fan favorite because it feels like the rest of us, oh, I could be that guy, which we couldn't. The guy's faster than like anyone but an Olympian. Super nice guy, right? Great with kids, does great work in the community, and they're paying him, but they're paying him a lot of money, and that's why this news kind of became a little bit of a trender among NFL fans yesterday. $20 million guaranteed to be basically the team's #2 wide receiver. And he hasn't produced like a #2 wide receiver. He's great in the return game, and he's been pretty good, but he's had some injury history, and he is short, and generally short receivers, not always, but generally short receivers aren't as dependable as a #2. Okay, if Doug Baldwin's not open and I'm Russell Wilson, I got to go to him. So they're really investing in him and saying they believe in him. Now the pressure's on for Tyler Lockett. 650 taking you above the fold. Did you know that the Seattle Lego Convention was this past weekend? And in the Snohomish County Tribune, they profile a man there who didn't even do Legos as a kid. Steve Jensen is his name. Now he's a builder for real and a builder of Legos. This is his 10,000-piece tribute to the Chronicles of Narnia. In the Wenatchee world, I got to get to Wenatchee because they've apparently got a kickball league that is serious business. It's their third year they're having it. This is the playoffs. And if kickball doesn't take you back to, like, elementary school, I don't know what else does. Finally, in the Redmond Reporter, speaking of going back to elementary school for some of us at a certain age, the Thriller dance, Michael Jackson, classic. Well, every year in October, there's a massive worldwide Thriller flash mob all across the country. It raises money for charity. And in Redmond, this is the 10th year that the Redmond Zombies are going to be participating. And this is a shot of them practicing and rehearsing. They do about 6 Saturdays of rehearsals. They have the largest group in the world, the only one that does a whole day event. And it's Saturday, October 27th. You can read more about it in the Redmond Reporter. And overseas, just utter devastation. Millions of people have been evacuated in southern China. Look at the pictures that are coming out of Hong Kong, the Philippines, and the southern part of China. Typhoon Mangkhut is causing just absolute destruction in each of those places. Gusts of up to 140 miles per hour, tearing, look at this, scaffolding off of building, tops of buildings have just flown off, shattering a lot of windows in Hong Kong. Some people there are being forced to go back to work today, even though the bus systems are not running at all. Now take a look in the Philippines. This has been the hardest hit of the areas in terms of the human impact and how many lives have been taken. In just a single landslide alone, 43 people have died, and overall in the Philippines, some 65 people have perished, and both of those numbers, sadly, are expected to go up. Of course, in this day and age, a lot of the story is being told on social media and on Twitter with various reporters there showing you the devastation. Let's take a look on our Microsoft Surface Hub. You can see in this apartment complex, windows shattered and the debris falling from above as well. Here again, that scaffolding, we just saw that video, so let me toggle to at least one more spot. And the one I want to get to here you can see the force of the winds. Take a look at that, John. Come on in here and look at that. That's what people are dealing with in this part of the world. And they're damaged. Obviously, the totals are going to go up in terms of the number. Here is another real gripping video as water literally pours right through a hotel as many people are recording it on their cell phones. So we'll continue to monitor the situation there, but of course a lot of devastation and a lot of people wondering what the future holds.